Hey guys, it's Guillermo again. So this is gonna be the part 2 of the dislikes and likes of the Shelby GT350. This video is gonna focus on the good things and pretty much is a list of all the things I like about my car after 2 years of ownership. This is I have two cars. This is my GT350 2016, and then I also owe a little 4-cylinder that is supposed to be my daily, but it actually sits more than the Shelby just because I love this car so much and it gives me such a satisfaction and happiness, and it's a stress reliever. And I think maybe this is gonna be also focusing on why I would suggest, if you own one of these cars, to go ahead and daily it if you can. I know a lot of you guys that are watching probably has one of these cars, and you're like the older type of guy that just buys a car like this and has a really nice, $80,000 F250 that you daily, whatever. But if you're somebody like me that doesn't really care about resale value as much, obviously whenever I got the Shelby, I used to think, man, I don't want to put so many miles on the car so that it's gonna lose its value. But at the end of the day, this car, I'm buying it and I'm driving it because it makes me happy, and I didn't pay so much money just to keep it sitting. So anyways, the car is a 2016 GT350. I've owned it for 2 years now. I got it for my 25th birthday. Obviously the things that I love about it is basically starting off is gonna be the looks. The looks of this car, in my opinion, is the prettiest S550 Mustang that has come out to date. I do love the way that the GT500s look as well, but the 350 is just so different. So for one, it's gonna be the looks. I love that Ford added those extractors for aerodynamics right here behind the front wheel. So I think that adds a lot to the presence and the looks of the car. I love that. They're very, very functional. I love the little extractor or heat extractor or the vent here on the hood, and then obviously I added those for even better cooling and aerodynamics. So the first thing I love, obviously, the looks. Secondly, I've done very, very subtle things to mine. I've lowered it on Stita springs. It's got SVE R replica wheels. I added those vents. And then I've obviously done, if you go back and watch my other videos, I have installation videos on a few other components on the IRS, things that I would recommend you doing to your cars. My car did not come with the Recaro seats. So my car is a 2016 tech package. So my car didn't come with the Recaro seats, unfortunately, but there was a gentleman that wanted to get rid of his Recaros on his 2017 Mustang GT. So the seats, when I got them, they were in great shape, and I mean they still are, even though I do drive the car every day. There's really not much wear and tear on the seat. I do need to clean them a little bit, but other than that, the seats hold up very, very well. And knowing me that I wanted to be doing some events with the car, tracking it, autocrossing it, and driving it hard on back roads, I knew that I wanted a seat that was gonna hold me better than just the regular tech package seats that come on these cars, that even though they're super, super comfortable, they have the heating and cooling, it wasn't something that was so appealing to me. And I actually saved quite a bit of weight by switching to these seats, because the other ones were heated and cooled, they were electric, and they were just massive, very, very big seats. So that's one thing that I wanted to do for sure. So I'm luckily I came across these and got a good deal on them. Other than that, another thing that I love about the car is gonna be the sound of it. The sound is like no other Mustang. Obviously, you guys know the Voodoo engine is just so cutting down some trees. So the Voodoo engine is so nice. You can literally listen to this car coming by from a mile away and you know exactly what it is. My car is still got the or I went back to the stock exhaust on it, and because I obviously love the way it sounds. I used to have an MBRP exhaust which sounded good and deep, but I really like the way that the stock exhaust sounds. And I think that, you know, if you are trying to switch the exhaust on the GT350, I would suggest don't do it. I did make the mistake because I'm always trying to experience things for myself, and you know, I didn't like it, and I just went ahead and put the stock one back on. No big deal. But I would suggest you guys don't change it. If you are gonna do something to the exhaust, do something regarding the headers, and the, you know, and the headers, the header manifolds. Do that, something about those, because if you do a free flowing exhaust on these cars, they just sound 10 times better. My car still has the stock manifolds, but I do have a free flowing exhaust. For you guys that know what I mean, just use your imagination. It's free flowing. So I went ahead and also, as you guys can see, the calipers, I painted those black and put the red Brembo stickers on them, just because I think that it matches the car a little better. The GT350 right there behind the scoop is black and red. So I mean, just little things that I've done to it to kind of bring the looks of it together and make it my own. And they do stand out, I think, better than the factory ones, or the factory paint scheme that the Brembos come in. Now, I will say that aside from the looks, aside from the sound of the car, the way that this car drives is unlike no other. And lastly, one last little subtle modification that I've done to my car that I never really talked about in any of my videos is gonna be, if you pay attention to the headlight, I don't have one of those vinyl stickers on the headlight to cover up the amber reflector. And the reason why I did that is because, you know, I had the time, I had the bumper off, and I figured, oh well, how hard can it be to open up a headlight? Well, let me tell you, it is extremely difficult if you've never done it before, especially on a S550. 2018 Mustangs is even worse, so don't attempt it if you haven't done the headlights before. It took me like 5 or 6 hours, I can't really remember, but it was just insane. I would never do it again, but I did it. And I actually love the way these headlights look. I love the way that I blacked that out, and it was just something that I've always disliked on Mustangs, how they have that orange reflector. I just hate it. So I'm glad I took care of it. So anyways, let's go ahead and go on a little drive, and I'll talk to you guys more about the driving portion of the review. Alrighty guys, so let's go for a little drive. Oh, one thing about the GT350s and newer Mustangs, they come with the active exhaust. So they, at least the 350s, start with the whenever you upon first startup, they start with quiet mode, but then you can go in sport mode, or just open the flaps and the car automatically opens the flaps. So obviously this is the way I like to drive it 90% of the time. I do think that having the active exhaust is very nice. It's a really awesome feature, because, you know, if you're not a-hole and you care about your neighbors, you're gonna start your car with on quiet mode, you know. And so at least I do. I mean, I care about people around me. So as far as driving the car on the street, I enjoy it the most whenever it's on sport mode, and I like to take off my traction control whenever I knowing that I'm gonna be, you know, maybe doing a 1 to 2 or 3 to 4 hard shifts. Because honestly, another reason why I love this car is the fact that it's a manual. If you've owned manual cars with higher horsepower, or, you know, medium to high horsepower, you know how much fun it is to bang gears, and especially doing a 1-2 shift. I mean, a quick 1-2 is, I mean, it's so cool. And then 2 to 3, and it's spinning the tires, and you're over here trying to keep it on the road. I love that feeling. If I get a chance, I might give you guys a 1 to 2 just to show you what I'm talking about. Obviously, you're gonna have to know how to control the car. I'll do one right here. Let's see. Are spinning and you're fighting to keep the car straight, and yeah, it's just a whole nother level that you don't get from a manual or automatic transmission car. I mean, doing that right there, it is so nice. And you know, whenever you do stuff like that and you get it down and you can do it properly, you know that you are a fast and driver. You got skill. Whereas I'm not trying to throw any shade or anything. Automatics are faster, but you're just a rider. You're just riding a fast car. That's it. I mean, my grandma can go as fast as you can, and with the same car, and she'll be just as fast as you. So, you know, in a manual transmission, at least you are the one driving. You're the one in charge of how quick you can shift it. You're the one in charge of everything on the driving portion of the car. And for you guys thinking, oh, that's a lot to do on a daily driver, or if you daily this car, that's a lot to do. Well, I mean, then this car ain't for you. I don't look at manual driving and driving a stick shift car as more work to do. I just look at it as part of the driving, if that makes sense. So I'm not looking at it as, oh my god, I gotta drive it now, I gotta shift all these gears and the clutch and this and that. No, I look at it as, man, you know, I get to drive the car again. So the manual transmission on these cars, it's amazing. And coming from me, from a guy that's owned 2 Mustang GTs previous to this, that they were both MT82. I had the 17 MT82 and the 2018 MT82 on my performance pack level 2 Mustang, and I just couldn't do this. I mean, well, on the 2017 I could. The transmission, it would allow me, and I think a lot of it is not even the transmission. I think the problem why you can't shift like this and this fast on 2018, at least from my experience, I could never do it, is the clutch. The clutch on the 2018 Mustang is it's not good. It locks you out at high RPM, and I could not bang gears just like how I did right now. I simply couldn't. The car wouldn't allow me to bang the gears. It would lock me out at high RPM, and I would have to sit there for half a second until it allowed me to go back into gear, and that was super annoying. I'm glad I got, you know, obviously I got the Tremec on this car. I love the Tremec. It is night and day step up. But you know, I know a lot of people hate on the MT82. I specifically hate on the clutches because my 2017 MT82 never once gave me an issue. I had the stock clutch on that, and I could bang gears just like I could bang gears on the Shelby. And you'll never see me talk bad about my MT82. You'll see me talk bad about the clutch selection that Ford has on the 2018 and up. But it is a strong transmission. I think it's a stronger transmission than the Tremec on these cars. You look at the guys from Fat House Fabrications with their twin turbo package on the GT350s. They literally say that the Tremecs grenade themselves at high horsepower. And it's not even shifting. It's just while doing a pull, the car grenades the transmission just because they are weak when it comes to high horsepower. Obviously, I'm not chasing high horsepower on my car. I think my car is so much fun how it sits, naturally aspirated, with just a simple tune and some free-flowing exhaust. I think the car is amazing, and it's super reliable, and I just have a lot of fun for what I want to do with the car, which is autocross, occasional track events with friends, and beat on it here and there, and basically just drive it as much as I can on the street, I think it's perfect how it sits. So I mean, I might give you, I'm gonna give you guys a tip. If you guys have one of these cars and you're just like me, that you love to hear the crackles and the pops, the car will always do it between 3,000 to 6,000 RPMs. So if you want it to crackle and you want to master the crackles on this car, you gotta rev it and then keep your foot slightly on the gas pedal. Not completely on it, but not off of it. It's slightly on while it's decelerating, and it'll crackle like crazy. Let me show you. That's one of the things that I loved about this car as soon as I got it, is how much it pops. I mean, it's call me ricer or whatever, but if a car is doing that without even needing a tune from the factory, I think that's a flex. I think that's freaking awesome, and I love the way this car sounds. I mean, you'll just find yourself hanging on to higher RPMs just to hear that exhaust note and the crackles. At least I do. And I mean, it's definitely not good on gas because it loves to drink gas, especially if you're doing that that crap all the time. I mean, it's not gonna last you. But then again, you don't buy this car for good gas mileage. You buy the car for having fun and having a good driving experience. I get a lot of people on the road always, you know, complimenting it, taking videos of it, and my car isn't even all that. I mean, I'm not the type of guy that likes to have a show car per se, or a car that stands out like crazy. I've never been that type of guy. I like to be subtle modifications. I mean, as you can see, my car doesn't even have stripes. I know a lot of people say it's not a Shelby if it doesn't have stripes. Well, I mean, I prefer my car without the stripes, just because it gives it a much cleaner look, and I just like the way it looks. I mean, it's so clean, and this is the way I like it. So my car actually came with no stripes, so that was a plus. And it was white, and I like white and black theme. White car with black accents. I'm gonna give this car a little bit of a head start because I like banging gears on this road right here. It's so straight. Cannot do that on automatic. It's just not the same. And this car just, I mean, it doesn't lock me out. I have the RXT McLeod clutch on my car with a brand new throwout bearing. It actually went out last week after his car has 56,000 miles. I'm gonna put some video of how the throwout bearing looked when it came out. It literally grenaded itself inside the transmission. It was just so bad. And you know, I knew it was coming because it started making a little bit of a whining noise, and you know, it was just time to replace it. But aside from little things like that going on the car, you know, the car hasn't given me major issues per se. If you watch one of my previous videos, you'll see a little bit of an unexpected accident that I had on the everything else is good in the car. You know, it hasn't given me any issues mechanically, issues that the car's fault or anything. I do have the Gen 1 Voodoo in it. I've always said that these cars are not as bad as people make him to be as far as reliability on the forums and all of that stuff. You know, yes, they require more maintenance than just your regular V8s, cross plane cranks, but it's just part of ownership. If you get this car, you're gonna have to. It's a high maintenance car. You're gonna have to watch out for things like the filter, things like the valve covers coming, the bolts coming loose, it trying to rattle itself apart. It's just part of the ownership of this car. But in return, the car will give you something that no other V8 in America, aside from the new C8, C06, $200,000, whatever. I mean, aside from that car, I'm talking obtainable to the average Joe. There's no other car that can give you this type of driving characteristics. You know, as the braking on this car, it's insane. A lot of people experience a little bit of brake fade after a long time on track, pushing the car hard, but on the street, the car will feel, I mean, you will never reach the limits of the car. I mean, the car will stay 10 out of 10 and performing 10 out of 10 on the street because you're just simply not able to get to its limits. Even on track, it's very hard to get to its limits, but you know, it's all about perfecting your driving, perfecting your skill, and that's what this car has developed in me, is developing my skill as a driver. And I love it for that. You know, the reward that it gives me for all of these things that I'm learning, that it's making me learn. And no, I don't have any of that, you know, automatic rev match, auto blip rev match on my car, just because I've gotten so good at automatically doing it my own. You know, I can do it with my foot, and I've just gotten so good, and I don't think me getting something like that is worth it at this point. Maybe sure when you're starting to get into the 350, yeah, I would suggest it, just because it's something that it will make your for one, it'll make your clutch last you a lot longer, and two, it'll just teach you the concept of how everything mechanically is working. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I love my car, and I am grateful to have it. What's next? I'm not sure, because I've always liked cars that are on the lighter side. The Shelby is still lighter compared to, say, your GT500, and man, I mean, even some premium GTs are close to 4,000 pounds, which is crazy to me. But my Shelby, I've done some things to get the car lighter, but it's still heavy. You know, it's still, I'm sure it's sitting over 3,500 pounds, and plus driver, it's 3,700 pounds. So it's not light by any means. And I've always been a fan of the cars with big power that are very, very balanced, like the Corvettes. Corvettes, I think, are really, really, really nice. If I could design the perfect car, I would have the Corvettes, agility and lightweight, and I will have the high revving characteristics of the Ford engine, whether it being the 5-liter or the GT350's Voodoo engine. I think it would, if you pair those two up, it would be, it's untouchable. I mean, you're talking almost, you know, look at the C06. The C06 is that Corvette, lightweight, but it's got a high revving V8 like what the Fords have automatically. And so, I mean, that car is a supercar basically, and you see how untouchable that is. I mean, you're looking at cars that are millions of dollars, like the McLarens. Those are the only ones that can compete with the C06, the new C06. And I mean, that's crazy to me. And but yeah, if I could have it my way, I would have a Corvette with this type of engine. And the closest that I can think of that will be a C6, C06, or I do like the C7s a lot. So, well, that's for another video, not getting too much off topic. I love my Shelby as of right now. I am planning on holding on to it for a long time, but you know, at the end of the day, it is just a car. I know that sounds horrible for you car guys, but I'm just like you. You know, I develop a huge connection to my car. I'm not a weirdo. I do not go and I name my cars. That I think is so weird. So I will never ever name one of my cars. but I do love and respect and I do cherish all the memories and everything that this car and I have gone through. But at the end of the day, the car is beautiful. The car makes me happy, and that's my 2-year review. I've driven it pretty much every day, or almost every day since I got it. I'm only 27 years old, and you know, I try to enjoy every single day. And if it means for this car to be driven every single day, then I'll keep on doing that, just because I really don't care about resale value. I mean, you're saving your fun, or you having fun with what you are paying so much money for, just so that the next guy can get a deal where you make more money. That to me makes no sense. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one.